Happy Monday, everybody. This is IT Live. It's brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. I'm Texas Homer. Next to me is Eric Nalin, and right below is Coach Dub. We're just going to talk Texas football strengths and weaknesses earlier in the season. Just chat. And chat, you get involved. Let me know what you think, what you want to see get better, what you like, all of that stuff. Before we do that, go over to InsideTex.com. Best place for recruiting news, team news, analysis, all of that. We have an awesome staff of writers. There's going to be something you like. There's tons of different points of view. Eric is able to cultivate the full spectrum of Texas fandom in the writing, and it's really cool. You'll find something you like. You guys can join for $1 for your first week, and you can get a full year of access to The Athletic. Morning, guys.
What's up? Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Good morning to the chat, too. Happy Monday to you, AR. Smoked chicken tastes better after Longhorns win. Plenty to clean up. I agree with you guys. Sugarcane Daddy, white guys are strength so far on this team. Yep, we got Gringo. We got Gringo Lightning. Yep.
Don't let Ryan Clark see that.
Hey, that smoked chicken. I took the family to Papacitos yesterday. I had a gift card to use from talking to a Texas group, and they smoked their chicken fajitas. And, man, I hadn't been to Papacitos in probably 12, 15 years. It was amazing. So now he's got me thinking about my leftovers already.
Yeah. And you said the tailgate was awesome, too.
Tailgate was great. Yeah. The brisket there was fantastic. Very inviting group. Girl Herd showed up. Cool. Joe showed up. Evan Veith showed up. Ian Boyd was there with his oldest child. That was good. Yeah, it was a good turnout. That was a lot of fun. That is exclusive to Inside Texas members. We have a sign-up sheet every Monday. If you're looking for a tailgate, we met some guys that came in from Lubbock, a father and two sons. The father is on a competing site. The son is trying to get him over to the good guys. But that's why we had that tailgate. So when you're in for, you live out of town, you don't go to a lot of games, you need a place to go beforehand, come check us out.
Yeah, it's a good way to make friends, right? So you're not just kind of awkwardly walking around the stadium.
Yeah, Skywalker 420 showed up, and that guy does not hide his two hobbies. We had a good time chatting with them, had a couple beers. He brought his little brother that reminded me of one of my old school friends. It was a good time.
Cool, good stuff. Is Ian's oldest son already bigger than Ian? I don't know. Is he?
Oh, no, he's not. But he definitely has that look in his eye where he's got that sort of intelligence that's got a little mischievousness to it.
Yeah, it's a criminal intelligence.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it was his first game, I think. So that was cool. Asking how it went. He said, besides the rain, it went well.
Yeah, it was his first game. I think I'm bringing my son to this next one. It won't be his first game. I took him to the Sugar Bowl against Washington. But yeah, it's a family tailgate, especially the ones that started for 11 o'clock kick.
Yeah, for sure. All right, first things first. We have a couple questions about Arch, so we'll hit the Arch stuff. I'm shocked you guys asked about Arch Manning. I didn't even expect that. I would like to see Arch's vision improve. Aware that it will take some time, but man, would be nice sooner rather than later. For sure. Game 2 was a lot better, man.
Yeah.
As far as seeing the field, he wasn't as sped up. First game, he was doing the Quinn Ewers, like if number one's not open, we're going all the way down. There wasn't a work down. He did that more on the all-22. There's a couple of plays to be made there. Ironically, normally to Wingo, and he didn't see it. This is inexperienced quarterback stuff. I know it's frustrating for fans because on the tape last year, man, if you just took progression's not linear, right? It's a trend up, but it's up and it's not a smooth line up. So yeah, it was interesting at the beginning of the season to kind of see where he's at, but the vision will improve. Watch the post game with him, man. He's super accountable, smart, maybe a little too hard on himself. And Sark's mentioned that as well, but he's going to progress more and Sark's going to feel him out more, man. I think we'll see a little bit more responsible hero ball. Arch seems to need to get the blood flowing. He wants to roll out. He wants to scramble. Yeah. Let him embrace that style. Yeah. We saw Mateer, right? Mateer struggles within the offense, right? If he has to go to a third read, it's not really going to happen.
No.
But as soon as you activate Mateer, he's like, send the blitz. And then you send it, he can do a spin move, and now he's going. And I think Arch has a little bit of that. So, yeah, his vision is going to improve, especially the weakness he has, and I didn't expect it. He doesn't seem to see well right behind the line on those short stuff. And it's not he's 6'4", he can see, but that's where his vision seems a little bit clouded at times. But that's young quarterback stuff. Eric, what do you think?
But yeah, he's still learning to anticipate his throws a little bit. I think he's got all the traits that we saw that in the game. Mechanics looked a lot better. That's number one that I was hoping to see. If he was going to have mechanical issues, Sark was going to have to spend a lot of time fixing that, and that's a lot of valuable time that they don't really have if they want to reach their goals this season. I'm still extremely bullish on Arch. I liked what I saw. We started to see him play more naturally, play like his play style. Sark said that in a post-game press conference. That's what he is. We talked about it. How do you get him in a rhythm? It's a lot different than how you would get Quinn Ewers into a rhythm. You want him to run around and make plays. You want him to put some tough throws on his plate. He did a really good job extending plays, not just taking off and running, but buying time behind the line of scrimmage. I don't watch a ton of NFL, but I know that the comp for Josh Allen is out there. Watching that amazing game last night between Buffalo and Baltimore. Yeah. I'd seen Josh Allen, don't get me wrong. I remember him in college, but it really clarified, okay, this is why Arch likes this guy, because he doesn't seem like he's real comfortable unless he's running around either. And it's just not something you normally see with a quarterback that size, but he likes to take some extra time. He likes to, first of all, he likes to take a lot of steps backwards, and then he makes guys miss to buy extra time. He had like 5 or 6 seconds on a number of occasions that he created. Arch was doing the same thing. And I think that's only going to bode well. The plays that he kept alive were a lot of times big gainers. His wide receivers did a good job breaking for him. Some of that got called back on a hold, but I liked everything I saw from Arch, from both, I guess you could say, in the passing game. But I understand that there's still a ways to go, but it was a marked improvement from the first game.
What about your coach's eye, Coach? What do you when you see Arch?
You talked about a pregame. I thought Arch was one of those guys, like, he needs some contact to get going, get his juices flowing. Like, he just feels like that type of guy. He wants to get the feel of the game, like he's a running back or something. But I particularly love the touchdown to injuries, the first one. I think that was like his third or fourth read. Like, he was scanning to the right and came all the way back and found injuries up the seam. Like last week, 2 weeks ago now, I guess, it wouldn't have happened against Ohio State. Probably would have tucked the ball and ran. So to actually see that, go through progressions and make throws on the third and fourth read, I thought was excellent. But I also love the fact that he got the stash and Parker Livingstone. Like, hey, I think we reported on one of the first scrimmages, he found Livingstone on a wheel route similar to that, and they kind of pointed at each other like, hey, we're on the same page. And he went right back to that similar play and found him for a touchdown. So that was good to see. I think he found his target, man. I think it's always good for a quarterback to find a go-to guy, right? And I think he found him, and he found injuries in his game. So I think the confidence will start to grow between him and his receivers that he's throwing to, and then get Wingo added on as you go. So, I loved it.
Yeah. Sarcasta, what's the little baby bird? If you love it, let it go type of thing. He's going to just be like, all right. Because Sark has this, like, you hear it in his tone. There's a little bit of disdain and pretentiousness for, like, college offense, running quarterback. And it's like, look, man, it works in college for a reason, man. We've seen it. Like, let's have some fun with it. I know it's not the ideal system for Sark, but to be fair, Sark's changed in that. Look at who he's recruited after Arch. I mean, these are mobile quarterbacks now. Right. So he does look like he's kind of changing that. And you're going to have to with Arch because that's how he gets going. Honest assessment, we just gave it to you. Inexperienced quarterback, ceiling really, really high. But floor needs to come up with Arch. That's the big thing.
The floor started coming up this week. I like that.
Yeah. You want that Manning field general, right? Like, hey, it's third down, let's execute type of thing.
Fans always live in the moment. They don't understand that the progression is happening right before them. And next week it'll be, we played even better. And then all of a sudden he's good. And like, how did we get here? Well, we got here with you complaining a lot. Not my boy Brett Nelson here, but just fans in general. He's not who we thought we were, blah, blah, blah. And then the next week it's a little bit more muted, and then a little bit more muted, and then he's good. And then people forgot they ever said that, and they're on to something else. This was part of the process with him, gaining experience. Experience is extremely important at that position, every position in football. And there's a lot of inexperienced team players out there with him. There's not really anybody. There's no offensive line to hold his hand. Everybody's in this together, kind of, not flying blind, but they're all gaining experience at the same time. So it's a bit of a process. That's the beauty of these 3 games. And I think this first game served its purpose. We're going to look back on it and say, okay, yeah, we saw some strides. And I expect to see that against UTEP and Sam Houston. And they got a bye week, and then they get to go play Florida. Thankfully, they don't have to play USF. They get Florida.
Yeah. Drew, your wife's Mexican too? Me too, man. We're brave guys, man. Shout out Drew if that's the case. All right, guys.
I dated my share.
Dude, it's high risk, high reward, man.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
It's yeah.
Abuela hooking it up in the kitchen makes it worth it.
Dude, it's incredible. Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. All right. So we need Arch to, I missed it, but it was something along the lines of we need Arch to also activate in the red game or run game. I agree. So far I've said it. I think Arch is our most explosive runner whenever he goes. So that's going to be a big factor is how to integrate him. There was a 3rd and 3 that I still cannot figure out if it was a design draw or he ran. But Arch also has that 3rd and short, like, all right, I need to go pick it up. It's his second option. So that's going to be a really good option on those 3rd downs that we're going to need. Okay. Man, y'all have a lot of comments today. Mateer is a creator like every other OU quarterback that gives us nightmares. Yeah, he's a fun player, man. That's really awesome stuff. The goal is trying to get Mateer to play within the offense. That's going to be the big thing. There's some like schemey stuff you can do. They attack the schemes a lot or the seams a lot. So you can do like a coach. You can do like a 2 read where your safeties are actually protecting the seams as well. I think that could help. I'm still out on like, do you blitz 5, cover well, or because you're trying to force him to throw those seams where someone's waiting, or do you just a light box it? I mean, even penny front it and then make him pick you apart. I don't know. I'll have to look through more Oklahoma tape, but he's a fun player, but he's not a perfect player.
No, I think he's one of those guys. He's going to throw you a few because he's going to overthrow somebody, or he's not going to put enough on it, right? It's going to be short. So tips and overthrows are going to get him because he's not as accurate a lot of times, but outside the pocket, that's when he's dangerous, when he's trying to create.
Yeah.
Texas played a lot of mobile quarterbacks last year. Not a lot of good quarterbacks, but the ones they played were pretty mobile, and they didn't get hurt by them all that often. So I think they're going to do a good job of keeping them in the pocket. Look at the edges Texas has, and then their offensive line is not great. So I think fans are kind of freaking out over that run-around playmaker style that we saw against Michigan, but that quarterback has not hurt this Texas defense like it used to hurt the Todd Orlando's and the ones before that.
2 big things. Michigan didn't rush contain at all. Like they had horrible rush lanes, and that allows Mateer. My thing is not about Mateer as a pure runner, like going downfield.
Right.
It's tough because Mateer will roll out and guys can't cover for 4 seconds. That's where you get the explosives. Where he runs out and then throws is what I'm nervous about. I'm not nervous about him taking off downfield. But it'll be fun. It'll be interesting to see that game. I'm really looking forward to that now. So given Sark's defenses are able to tune out the noise in Sark's symphony-style offense, what speed metal ingredients can we add and spam as more obvious and executable elements to our current system? Man, that was wordy. I'm trying to figure out get on defense or offense, Bobby.
He's talking offense because you're talking about Sark's offense.
Yeah. Okay, so he
wants to say how do you spice up the offense?
You actually spice it up by toning it down. So easy, quick game, leverage throws to the slot. If the nickel's outside, you break in. Very college-y concepts when the things are there. Because Sark, and also what I've noticed too that teams will do, Sark does a ton of pre-snap stuff. He's getting reads and all that kind of stuff. Teams that don't react to it tend to do better.
Yeah.
Teams that just go, I don't care about the motion, man. Like I've noticed that too. Like, don't even react. He's trying to get you to react. Like, don't react. And I've seen that too. But just quicker, easier stuff, honestly, man. Because we're getting in a lot of 3rd downs and 3rd and longs and that.
Just get Wingo on the same page. How much potential yardage have Arch and Wingo missed together?
100.
It's over 100 at least.
Yeah.
In 2 games, it's over 100 yards.
Yeah. But as far as like being executable on 1st down, we can go to quicker concepts that aren't behind the line screens, something forward and short, quick slants, that kind of stuff. Not even RPO tag, just pure quick slants, these kind of things. All right. We got a bunch of stuff here.
Yeah, these guys are real talkative.
I know.
That's why they had coffee this morning.
Learning a lot about their family lives, their chicken fights in the neighborhood.
When Wingo has his breakout, it's going to be a whole other problem for defenses.
It's coming too. That's going to happen. That's going to be another one that everybody's going to forget about by, October. Like, oh, yeah, I remember that. Remember he had issues? No, I don't. I can't remember that. He's going to be fine. He's too good, and he cares too much, and he's got a whole lot more. He's a much more complete player than he's shown to this point. It's coming.
Oh yeah, if I was on the tape watching him be lazy, I'd be all over him. That's not what's happening.
No.
There's just a disconnect here. It's not a want to. It's not a try issue. None of that.
Yeah, breakout game is coming.
Yeah, I finally listened to the Sark post-game presser this morning, and he talked about Colin Simmons pressing, which, I think that's pretty much obvious. We probably all noticed that, but I think Wingo and Archer are pressing a little bit too, and they just need to settle down. They're gaining experience. It's okay. Get all this BS out of the way now. They're going to be much better players for it. Not worried about Wingo.
Yeah. I'm loving the heavy tight end set. Seems much more dynamic than anticipated. It was nice to see all the tight ends too.
Might see number 81 Nick Townsend out there smashing people, man.
Smacking people.
Oh, I'm telling you.
Ian made everyone mad because he pointed out he smacks the wrong guy. But hey, all right, whatever. He still smacks somebody.
Yeah, he hit somebody. He's not. I think
Dude, he's looking for it. He's like a linebacker.
He is. Well, that was part of the evaluation. I spent a lot of time at Decaney, and one thing the coaches would talk about as much as just his athletic gifts were how hardcore of a football player he is. He takes football extremely seriously. It was fun to watch him play linebacker. He would play edge, wherever he could play edge in college. I don't think he played linebacker. I think he played edge in college and be really good at it. He's just a pure football player. He cares tremendously about it. That's why, I wasn't quite as worried about him when he wasn't an early enrollee. I thought it would hurt his chances this season. But he's also the type, like Trevor Gooseby didn't enroll early, to continue working even though he's not on campus yet. You don't have to worry about him.
Do you guys know anything here? Generally with me, I don't really dive deep into opponent until like 2 or 3 weeks before we play them. So I'll casually watch A&M, but I don't know anything deep about their team yet. Have y'all heard anything about this at all?
No, I didn't even know he got dinged up.
Yeah, the other guy came in and threw a pretty deep ball. That's about it.
Dude, I'm grinding
under quarterback controversy in College Station, maybe.
I'm grinding brutal UTEP tape right now, which is incredibly boring. By the way, Nelson got to be one of the biggest busts I've ever seen. I mean, no leadership. Like completely flat, getting pulled. Like he doesn't even look like he wants to play football. Even his motions are just like.
Yeah,
like that kid does not care, dude.
Hey, there were people that had him over Arch.
Dude, he's and then he'll make a throw where you're like, okay, well, yeah, he does not care at all.
He's got a crazy arm. I saw him at 7-on-7, and he was. That's
what, even that.
People will fall in love with the physical traits, and a big arm is impossible to miss, but you can overrate a big arm really easily.
Yeah, that's a huge pitfall in the recruiting space with the quarterbacks. All right, I think this is material related. He chucks up a lot of balls. Good defense will make those hurt. Also won't have the luxury of the Michigan offense on the other side. Man, that Michigan play calling was awful. The game plan was awful. It was just big. They got to adapt to the new Big Ten. Like you got USC, Oregon, Ohio State in there now. You can't play like this anymore, man. Like you need wide receivers. What are we doing?
Yeah, I think one announcer said they could have kept Alex Orji for that if they were going to run that kind of game plan. Like it was terrible.
Yeah,
I have concerns about Sharon Moore being the guy there long term, but we'll see. I think he and Napier are both kind of they're being bolstered by the amount of NIL that's being spent, but they better start delivering some results.
My biggest fear: Napier fired Lagway to A&M. Like that's what I do not want to happen.
I could see. I think people even predicted that when he committed to Florida because A&M went hard after him.
Yeah,
when they brought in the new staff, and I think that family would prefer to stay in state. At least from what I knew them pretty well during the recruiting process. Texas wasn't really in it, but I got to know them because they don't live far from me. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. That would be such an A&M thing too.
That's what I'm saying. Root for Florida guys. So you got to think about downstream consequences here because that would not be fun. All right, guys, before we keep going, let's hear a word from Academy.
Any gate can be a tailgate.
Someone asked earlier, Brett asked, it seems like we don't do a lot of easy slants, crossers over the middle, or am I crazy? We do plenty of crossers, mesh, stuff like that. missed throw versus Ohio State to Wingo. We do a lot of that kind of stuff called shallows. But if you're talking about typical college football, quick slants into the slot guy, we don't do a lot of that style of quick game for whatever reason. But we do plenty of crossers.
The Wingo drop was a crosser. The Wingo missed last week
on his foot.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Those 2 plays alone, they probably have 60 yards left on the field.
Yeah, we do a lot of the crossers. They just don't stop to catch the slant often. I don't know why we don't utilize it more.
Yeah. Hey, Wingo had a big one against Oklahoma last year on like a quick slant. He almost took it to the house.
Oh man, when he went shot up the middle, oh my gosh, yeah.
Dude, when he gets an open field, you're like, God, he looks like an elk. I would say a deer because he's fast, but he's big, so he's an elk. Yeah. It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Anthony Hill and Ty Smith played great, and we're second on the team in tackles with 6 against San Jose State. Are you all concerned about a safety leading the team in tackles so far? Is that Tapp?
In the preceding comment, he says Tapp had 9 against Ohio State, 8 against San Jose State. That doesn't bother me at all. First of all, the rotating linebackers more. Tapp is out there quite a bit, but Tapp is a little bit everything back there. He's sort of a linebacker. He's extremely smart. That doesn't bother me. He's not like he's making all these tackles down the field too. He's making them up a lot of times within 3-4 yards of the line of scrimmage. Yeah. I'm not worried about that. Tapp is playing fantastic. He's playing as well as he played at his heights last year. Now they've just got to make sure that he doesn't get as much wear and tear as he did last year, because Texas needs this guy in December and January.
Yeah, it can be safeties leading can be bad if it just means their linebackers are bad. That's not the case. If you look at Tapp is often standing at 10 yards and he's looking to attack interior gap. He's playing run first, and then he's smart enough to pay attention and drop out. So with Tapp's play style, that's not a worrying stat. It can be with other teams, but the context is they're asking Tapp to be in the run game like that, and he's so fast on those reads, he's getting there.
I was just about to say, he sees the game so well that he can just attack, right? Sometimes he beats people to the ball. Like, he's just trying to get there. He has that kind of motor, but he's not making game-saving touchdown tackles. Like, they're not getting to the third level with ease, and he had to save the defense.
That's definitely been some issue. I think Charlie Strong's defense had some safeties where it was just way too many tackles from the safeties for that reason. But this would show up if they were getting poor D-line play. They're not getting poor D-line play, so it's not going to be a concern that the safety's leading right now. And Taffish is different, man. He's got a linebacker brain. They move him around a lot, and he's just extremely active. It's just nose for the ball. Gilbo had a good game. We got to talk about Gilbo, man. Everybody, we were a little bit harsh on him. I don't know if we were too harsh after the first game. He played really well too.
It was on the tape, so we talked about it. That's not harsh.
Yeah, no, I agree. We got to do it the other way though too.
Yeah.
Well, it's not. It's boring. What am I going to show? Like, he defended a 5-yard out and they didn't even throw it to him. Like, what am I going to do?
Well, he had that almost interception. He did caught that fastball off of Jelani's deflection.
Sure. Yeah. I'll see. I give it to I tell Drew and Jet, I'm like, pick me 3 plays that they like. So it's whatever they key in on is what we show. What's a bigger mistake? K-State running off Will Howard for Avery, or OU Jackson Arnold over Dylan Gabriel? First thing, I was a big Will Howard truther, and I had to stand in the paint with a lot of you guys. But he needed the system, and he was able to do it at Ohio State. Still, it's got to be Jackson Arnold in the Gabriel thing, just because of the size of the Oklahoma program and how they had like one of the historically worst offenses they've ever had. So Kansas State's not good either, but
no,
the drop wasn't as serious. So I would say,
and Avery played really well when they were splitting time with Howard 2 years ago. You could see the talent. I kind of get that. Arnold. Well, they wouldn't have Mateer if they still had Arnold. So the difference in financial between what Auburn's playing Jackson Arnold and what OU's playing Mateer is probably pretty significant. I would say probably $400,000. So there's a kind of an opportunity cost as well. So I think they're doing okay this year, but last year, as the question states here, Jackson Arnold over Dylan Gabriel, that was a massive mistake.
For sure. Okay, let's talk a little bit of defense. So defense looked awesome. They came in a little sleepy. Drew pointed it out. He was like, look, this is just when you come in, not ready, maybe not respecting their opponent fully. And then they just turn it on, and it's just a melee of turnovers. They had a big task in the secondary. That was my pregame, that they throw, 75% of the time. They'll throw short to get you to start creeping down, and that's when they want to hit you over the top. So I thought secondary did a really good job. They didn't complete anything deep. They tried, but they didn't complete it, and that matters. So that's going to be a big factor for me. So this is our opportunity to talk secondary. I thought Malik Muhammad had a good game. I thought Littleton got tested by Scudero. I think everyone will be tested by Scudero, but they didn't complete on him. So watch the young guy do his thing. And then, Eric, what do you think about Jalen Gilbo?
Well, hey, we're not going to talk about him covering a 5-yard slant. He was good. He had a good game. There's a lot of people are still skeptical about him. I get that. It just kind of depends on who the opponent is. He's going to be good against even good opponents. It's it's the great ones where I think maybe there are some issues. Littleton got popped on a double move, but they didn't complete it. But he fell for it. That is the biggest pet peeve that Akina is going to have, is do not fall for double moves. They practice it all off season. Do not bite on a double move. So he committed the cardinal sin on that one, but he didn't have to pay for it, fortunately. But that's just a really cohesive unit, and it was awesome to see a lot of the younger guys play. Xavier Filsamy was out there.
Yeah.
Even Jonathan Cunningham, your guy Jonathan Cunningham from North Carolina, was out there, and not even at nickel. He was at safety. So now I've got to investigate that a little bit.
Well, the tricky part about, I'll give credit to Littleton on San Jose State. That's the whole strategy. They're going to run 10 short stops. And if you don't bite on it after the 7th time, now you're just giving up these end breakers, which they ended up doing a lot. All they're doing is setting you up for the double move. So I'm not that mad at them scheme wise there. LaFau made a big play, double slants. Both guys got beat. I think he wasn't actually going to target Scudero, Littleton's guy. He was going to go to the second slant, which is normally where you're going to go on double slants. But LaFau jumps up and swats it and saves a touchdown there. So there was a lot of good stuff. The linebackers, man, like LaFau last game was a monster. Then you get Ty Anthony Smith into getting reps there. He was balling, one of the best strip sacks you'll see. I thought our second level play has been really, really a bright spot as well. Run and pass, and you're going to need them in the pass game versus Oklahoma.
I agree. And to kind of finish on the secondary, I thought Littleton got picked a lot too. So that's kind of hard for a young guy he ran a lot of pick routes, trying to get open on the wheel route against Scudero. But otherwise, you had people open that didn't complete it. So nobody's really going to, coaches will get on it, right? They'll still want to fix it. Like, we don't want anybody running free in our secondary. But, man, I don't know. If I wants to win the buckets, man, that dude is like absolutely straight out balling. I don't think who's playing better than him in the nation, honestly. Like, he's playing the pass well, the run well. Making tackles, making plays in the backfield. I don't know anybody playing better than him right now.
Well, he's smart, man. He's reading really well. Like, that's the only way you can shoot those gaps, not from a blitzing position. Like, he's reading the run incredibly well too. I think he's balling. Shout out Quentin. Thank you for that, man. Hook 'em. I don't have an insane question to ask. Thank you, man.
Inane, not insane.
Oh, inane. I was like, but thank you, Quentin. We appreciate that, man. What was the route to Lockett? I think that was just an end breaker. I think that was a slant. That was Caldwell, and Caldwell had the cleanest over the middle throw. He was just like, Arch, you just go like this. Like, he was like, it's not complicated. He was just chilling. That level of composure was nice to see from him as a second string quarterback. There you go, man. I thought that was funny. You're like, oh yeah, it's okay. Yeah, we can do that.
We got one from Joshy Manning.
Yeah. Interior offensive line play has been subpar. Campbell does not look like he's improved. Hudson was barely serviceable, and Stroh versus Neto has felt exactly like Campbell versus Hudson last year. Thank you, Joshy Manning. I agree with you. Interior offensive line play has been subpar. Stroh has struggled. Hudson didn't have a great game last week, and Campbell is not playing with any aggression. Like, he's just kind of going through motions on a lot of these blocks. Like, he's getting up to his guy. It's not what I saw in high school. So I know I've talked to Paul about it and that kind of stuff. There's not a lot of like pure aggression here, trying to drive guys off the ball. There's a lot of like box checking that I'm seeing. And Stroh's just having, frankly, some athleticism issues, getting like olayed very easily. He has a problem where he'll put his hands on somebody, too much forward motion. They just move him, and then he's bent over, like stumbling forward. So Eric's much more bright on this, but I would have to agree with Joshie Manning off the bat. Eric, give us the bright side here, man.
Well, I'm a little bullish on it as far as they're still poking and prodding, figuring out what works. They're in heavy experimentation mode right now. Ian Boyd had a very good article this morning detailing all the different run concepts they ran. A lot of them are not going to be used long term. At least he doesn't think. A lot of the breakdowns he identified came from the tight end position, deficient tight end blocking. I think they're going to integrate Arch into the run game more on calls, RPOs, and stuff like that we're going to see more of as they get deeper into the schedule. That's going to help out a lot. I think they're going to get more gap schemes where I think there was a couple times I noticed Campbell on pulls where he looked good to me. I think they're still figuring out what they're going to be good at. It's obviously a learning curve. I'm not too worried about it, but they have to keep getting better and better. We can debate whether or not we saw improvement from the week before, maybe not, when they went against Ohio State and looked okay, but Ohio State was giving them some room to operate. I do think they're going to keep getting better, but right now, there's first things first. They got to figure out who their best five are, and I'm not sure they found that out yet.
Yeah, that's a good point. Hey, I talked about that a little bit. Coming on over on Inside Texas on the board, someone asked me that similar question. Like, look, they're still trying to figure out, all right, who's my five, who I want to run with, and what are they good at? I think by conference play, they'll have it down. It takes time, man, to kind of gel and get everybody, what scheme fits best for the five that you have. And so give them to about conference play. Those guys should be gelling and running, cohesiveness to be up there up front, and we'll see what they look like then. But I don't know. I'm giving them a bit of some grace period right now, man. Just kind of grow together.
They've been pretty good in pass protection. Nobody's really talking about that. Everybody's focusing on the negative, which I understand that if the offensive line doesn't come together, it's a much lower ceiling on the team. Sure. But Arch hasn't gotten to the point where he's going to make up for some of that, but I think he is going to get there where it makes their job a lot easier. I thought the running backs actually looked a little bit. Well, maybe not Clark. Clark didn't live up to my expectations, but Baxter looked pretty good, and Jarrett Gibson, despite the fumble, they need to play him. They just get all the fumbles out in the next couple of weeks with Gibson. They got to keep playing him, I think. But I thought Baxter looked better than he did the week before.
Quentin, don't do Taft like that. But I get what you're saying in that he is being asked to do a ton like Caleb's Downs. Like
he said he didn't have anything inane to say.
but yeah, I get what you're saying. It is similar. He's the linchpin to the defense, guys. Like on all 22, he is everywhere. I do worry about him getting optioned at some point or targeted because he is playing run and pass so often. But he's been absolutely crucial for us. Run game. So Nash has a really good graphic where he lists and we'll see it on later on Nash and Evan's show today. He lists the elusivity ratings for all of our running backs going back, 10 years or something. All of our running backs are at the bottom, our current running backs. They're not making people miss. So just period, whether it's a juke, whether it's a truck, whether it's that, need value add from the running backs because we just need it. And that's going to be a big factor.
The offense has to figure out something to lean on. Well, what's going to be the identity of this offense?
Well, how do you play Texas? Okay, don't let them run.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're one-sided with Arch. Okay, now we're going to disguise. Oklahoma's got the defense to make this tough on us. So we need to get that solved. I don't care about San Jose State. They're always just a stand-in for a larger, better team that can come and make you pay for that stuff. Did they run veer and shoot? No, but they did do some veer and shoot concepts. I'm glad you caught that, AR. They'll put those receivers right on the sides and stack them. That's a veer and shoot thing. And remember, veer and shoot is actually named by our Ian Boyd. He named that offense. But no, they're actually called a spread and shred offense, but they did use some veer and shoot principles. I'm glad you picked up on that. I did as well. All right. Man, y'all are active today in the chat. I'm trying to get through all this.
Ain't nobody getting work done on Monday, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We got to talk about this. Ann is knocking people out. So what's it look like when someone who's got 600 pounds hits you? So that's called a peanut punch, right? You do that to knock the ball out. but he didn't necessarily get the ball there. And
yeah, I mean, right in the chin, bro.
Scudero, man, our boy went down, and he's okay. I talked to the San Jose State reporter that we had on earlier this week, so Scudero's all good, but that was a fun play, man. Justin says they practice boxing in that household, so
his reaction on the sideline, he's still over there talking about it, like, yeah, I knocked him out, dude. Can you imagine him saying it in his voice, though? Like, hey, man, I knocked him out. It's all soft. And
no, that's what I'm saying. He's got that perfect boxer voice where you expect them to be a total killer when they open their mouth. And then it's like,
he's got the Mike Tyson voice where he's like, hey, guys. He's like, when you talk to him, he's such like a golden retriever. He's such like a happy, positive guy. And then you see him on the field getting in shoving matches. It's like, oh, he's a little different. A little different.
And Littleton's got he's out. Littleton has an edge out there, and then you hear him talk, and you're like, what?
Yeah, Littleton too. When I heard him talk, I was like, dude, if you would have just shown me an interview, I would have said Texas. Like, I would have put in an RPM. Also, guys, tell Eric to allow me to put in RPMs. I won't have any sourcing, but I will go purely off of feelings, and I will bring our overall team accuracy down 30 points. But let me get some RPMs in, Eric. O-line still struggles with smaller slasher type DL, like Arizona State last year. Great point, Gaddis. We've historically, those little guys, a lot of football is an agreement between the offense and the defense. When you play ACC teams, they've generally agreed we are going to pick large people and we are going to try to play one-on-one and have a shoving match. Teams that don't have the talent, they're not making that agreement. And a lot of them, so there's a lot of slants and quick stuff, but we actually have seen the O-line struggle with those faster, undersized lines because they have a lot of pre- and post-snap movement.
It's the same principle as the big cornerbacks. The big cornerbacks like big receivers. They don't like going up against the little quick guys.
No.
Yeah, and I don't share that sentiment. Coaches are like obsessed with giant cornerbacks, and I'm just like, dude, let me see if they can cover. If you can cover little, cover big, who cares? But just because you're big doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, they're not knocking down the ball with their head.
Arch is getting better at evading guys, getting past the offensive line. That mitigates some issues with the protection. I thought his pocket mobility was excellent.
It was.
And
it's hard to bring down too, man. Like one person's not going to bring him down. He'll shrug you off. That's a strong dude.
He's starting to trust his athleticism. He's got it. He's good. That was a good game for him.
Drew, we need to punish Gibson with 30 carries next week.
Absolutely, they do. Yeah. Just give him more exposure. He needs more exposure. That's all there is to it. He's not going to learn in practice. You can't really duplicate ball security in practice. I know it's kind of a catch-22. Yeah. We're not going to play until you have ball security, but you're not going to play until you can prove you have ball security. Well, it doesn't really work like that. So get him a lot of carries. He runs with the most urgency out of all the guys they have. Outside of Trey, but he can deliver more tackle breaking than Trey.
Yeah, he was the most north-south by far. It's going to be – the running back room is going to be interesting this year. Clark, the answer with Clark to me is get him a lead blocker, let him know where he's going, and then you can use the athleticism. Anytime our offensive line can get beat a lot, so it really muddies the read, and Trey Wisner is great at that. Like, he's very patient. He'll wait for it. A young back, they're not hearing all that, man. Like, they're scared. And so, when it got muddy, he had difficult periods. But if you were just like, follow this guy, you see Clark's big run. So I think that's the key to unlock the athleticism.
You can see some ability to make people miss in Clark, even though he was dancing back there a bit, but you can kind of see like he has some athletic traits that's like, okay, when he gets it, he can be dangerous.
Yeah. We need more gap schemes. I'm convinced.
Yeah, I'm a vibe based recruiter. That's how I go. I just like, this feels right. Is Ryan Day a better quarterback developer than Sark? It seems like their offense is dialed in, and so is Sayan, whereas Arch and Texas offense looks a little sloppy at times.
I mean, if you would just go by the offensive line, Texas offensive line has been sloppy. That's the big difference. Outside of Arch was, deer in headlights, whatever. They had a lot more continuity at Ohio State. It's a much more favorable environment for a first-time starter in Sayan with what they have coming back. They've got 3 proven receivers. They've got a proven tight end, even though he's new. They had a lot of offensive line carryover, even though they lost 2 NFL draft picks. One of the guys, Simmons, didn't even play much last year. So they've got just a lot more offensive continuity.
And they're at home. And that offense
too. It's a big difference from San Jose State.
They weren't returning starters at Ohio State, but those guys all played together in the playoffs. So like they weren't together all year, but they got a
Right.
ton of reps against really good teams. That was a big factor. They were at home. And also we got to give credit to Sand. That kid's got a unique mindset. Like watch his interviews. He beat Texas and basically was just like, yeah, I'm going to go to Chili's after this. I think I'll have a nice relaxing evening. Like he was answering like a pro. So is he a better quarterback developer? There's also in Sark's tenure here, we've only really seen Quinn go out. But sure, you give it to Day as far as Stroud and all the like, sure.
Mhm.
Argument to be had. If you can pick what you want here.
Day, the counter argument is he had to go to the portal to get a game manager. And to his credit, he won a national championship with that, but he won that with the totality of roster talent than with his quarterback.
Very
So,
true.
yeah, I don't know.
All righty.
Sark has a lot. Look what Sark did with Mac Jones. That's more impressive than anything Ryan Day's done at the quarterback.
All right.
Yeah, as a Pats fan, yeah.
Talking about offensive line struggling with smaller defensive linemen that slant a lot. Doesn't OU slant and twist a bunch? They did. Yes, they do.
Yes.
OU's defense is going to be a handful. And we'll see Arch versus Florida. That'll be good. I'm lucky we're not just going into OU without seeing him again in a kind of intense environment. But OU's defense, they're going to disguise a lot. They're going to put a ton of pressure on him. Like Arch has it coming to him against that defense. Game plan better be good. Because and they're not little. OU's not little. They're big, and they do a lot of those games.
You know what though? They might get out of the gaps like A&M did a lot of that last year too.
You can.
If
Well,
this
that's
offense
it.
is clicking. You can hurt them because they're going to be out of the gaps.
Dude, it's all counterpunching, right?
That's
like Venable's defense is like a pressure fighter. How do you defend a pressure fighter? You pick your shots, or you flip side and go so aggressive. It's Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. He finally realized, I've got to take the fight to Wilder, because whenever he's able to push, he knocks guys out. But pressure fighters aren't used to people putting the pressure on them.
Yeah.
So you have two avenues: counterpunch or go insanely aggressive and out aggress them. So we got to see there. But that's going to be a fun matchup. All right. We have to make them defend every blade of grass. Yeah. And Michigan was dumb because they're throwing a bunch of screens. There's nothing better than Venable's defense at going downhill. They're incredibly good at see ball, hit ball. You have to back them off of you. You have to prove that and make them pay for going after you like that.
Venables is going to have a really good game plan. See, he might not be the best program manager, and they might not have the NIL resources or the overall sort of consistency that Texas does when it comes to operating the program. But he's going to have a good game plan.
Well, and also remember the dumb narrative of like Patricia totally schemed up and disguised everything. BB actually does that. The difference was Patricia wasn't pressuring us. Like they would rush 4, sometimes maybe 5, but they would show pressure. But OU is going to actually pressure you, and they are going to disguise. You're going to be getting it on both fronts with Oklahoma, so that's a big factor. Before we keep going, though, guys, let's hear a word from the best lawyer in the whole wide world, Andre the Lawyer.
This video is brought to you by Andre the Lawyer. If you're injured, trust the team that secured millions for their clients and helped thousands of Texans with their injury case. Car wrecks, slip and falls, 18-wheeler accidents, on-the-job injuries, and wrongful deaths. Don't let insurance tell you what your claim is worth. Hire Andre the Lawyer to fight for you. Principal office is in Dallas, but they serve Texans throughout the state. So don't wait and call Andre the Lawyer today at 214-444-8808. That's 214-444-8808. The contact information is in the description.
I'm disregarding the Ewers part. I don't want to knock him here, which is rare for me. Arch's pocket presence and 15-yard scrambles would be a strip sack versus Quinn. All I want to talk about is that Arch is able to salvage plays that we weren't able to salvage and make them pay. That's going to be a huge factor versus any aggressive defense. His movement has been awesome, and his willingness to use it has been awesome.
Yeah, not just Quinn either. That's most quarterbacks, man. College football who can't move. So, Arch is a little bit different when it comes to that. Yeah,
it's going to be a big key. So we're going to do the breakdown of UTEP, me and Paul, all tomorrow. But there's not much to this team, guys. Like they're really disengaged. They don't look like they're trying hard. I think it's a reflection of their quarterback. They're super undisciplined. They gave up there was the drive they should have scored on. They end up getting 2 personal fouls. They shove a guy out of bounds and they rough the quarterback at the same time. So 2 different personal fouls at 2 different parts of the field. This is just not a very good team. And I'm surprised to hear that because Scotty Walden, I had a lot of respect for, but they just don't look well coached right now. Nelson's getting pulled first drives and he's yelling at Nelson of like, you have to be better. I don't know what we'll get from this game. Arch should be able to ball out. The athletes are not very good. If you look at a lot of the transfers, these are like community college and Austin P guys. And then on top of that, they're not a very engaged team. They just don't really play hard. They played UT Martin this week. I'm not even going to watch something like that, but versus Utah State, it was a pretty dismal performance. So expect another good game, getting reps with the receivers. Correct. This game seems like it'll be a good practice, like a glorified scrimmage. No disrespect to UTEP. Yeah, I wouldn't disrespect them if they didn't put bad tape on. San Jose State was the absolute opposite. That team was well coached. They were attacking the whole time. They were flying to the ball. Like, that's a well coached football team, win or lose. I'm not seeing that with UTEP. Was pretty shockingly disappointed in what I saw on the tape for them.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. Let's get Livingstone some more yards. Yeah, I'm good with it.
Yeah, 5 more touchdowns out of Arch ought to be good.
What do we need to see against UTEP, Sam Houston State, to truly feel good about the offense, health, efficiency? It's going to be hard to draw good conclusions off good performances against tomato cans. Yep, shout out. Execution, right? You can't go 2 for 12 on third down. You got to be at 50% on these teams. Red zone, I think we went 3 for 4, even though we tried to screw up a 1-yard run. Arch threw the touchdown, so red zone was better. But you have to see success on first down, which always leads to success on third down. Mm-hmm. Good third down teams, guess what? They're in third and short all the time. They can do that. Bad third down teams, they're not executing on first down, compounding. So, yes, efficiency. What do we look like on third down? Where are we at in red zone? Do we win our situational football? AKA, do we win a 4-minute drill before half? Do we win a 2-minute drill before half? Our first offensive drive out of half, do we score? These are all things you want to see looking wonderful versus bad competition. If you don't do this,
I just mentioned that.
Yeah,
man,
that's something that doesn't matter who your opponent is, right? Right. You know, it doesn't matter if they're good or bad. You should not have a bunch of penalties.
You got to be at 75% this way. Yeah, I hope, man, for third down. Trying to give you as reasonable as I can, but yeah, some of this stuff is frustrating. I want to see special teams get activated. So I want to see returns, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, fielding the ball.
I know people were upset with the punt block on Banks, like, unnecessary. I'm good with that, man. They're backed up run punt block. Like, because here's the thing. Why are we not running punt block? Because we don't return it anyways. We're fair catching. We're getting 2 yards. So go after them, man.
Like, I didn't like it. My number one goal for that game was Arch in the offensive line. Just fucking let them have another 12 snaps.
Yeah, but it's, to me, man, it's like they need those reps. Like, and if we're not returning anything, why not go after a punt block? They're backed up. So that's my thing. But we need to see more for the return. The problem with the return game is there's only so much you can do. If they punt it to you and 3 guys are at your chest at that point, what do? You don't have a ton of control there unless your blocking schemes are keeping guys off of you. Kelly Ford was showing Texas as the second to last special teams unit through 2 weeks, by the way. Shout out Kelly Ford. He does really good metrics. I haven't seen those, though, but I'll check them out. Run your special teams, put on film that you'll get after the ball. Yeah, I'm down with that, Drew.
Just coach it up. Aiming points. Pick your head up. You can't hit what you can't see. I don't know. I'm not sure who hit the punter, but like you had your head down. Like fix your aiming point.
Yeah. Situational football, this staff struggles with that. Yeah, it all comes down to situational football, man. Like some of the coaching isms are boring. That's not one of them. Like preaching on execution, situational football, complementary football. Those are all fundamentals of the game that you have to have. The real point, if you run punt block, don't get a penalty. Just don't. Yeah, you got to coach that up.
But it happens all too often. I mean, I don't know. It was real predictable in that situation, I thought.
Yeah, when they're backed up, you're almost always going to run it. You want to get that big play. UTEP may not be playing with discipline, but Tech's not playing with discipline either. Yep.
Yeah, they can't overcome
But this
point.
level of athlete not playing
Man.
with discipline versus not a good level of athlete playing with discipline, not discipline, then yeah, there's not a lot of cohesion. And I'm telling you, man, Nelson is just like his leadership, man. And like when he goes to the sidelines, he's just like blank faced and by himself. You'll notice that too. Like no one's ever around him. He's always just kind of off doing his thing. So, but yeah, that's what I want to see. I want to see execution. Okay. Hey guys, we all know at this point that like Max, Sark is a builder and a recruiter of programs. Nevertheless, outside of the talent at Texas, is he better than an 8-4 coach? So is Sark being improved by having athletes, or is it the system that's bringing him up? We're seeing these kind of sentiments grow. Guess what, Eric? Take it away, man.
Is Sark would Sark do as well if he had Kyle Whittingham's talent? I don't know that. Would Kyle Whittingham be able to coach this type of talent and the personalities? It's kind of like Bill Snyder at Kansas State. He recruited a certain type of player that was going to put a cap on your ceiling, but also was going to be perfect program guys, hard-nosed, experienced. They were always older teams. He would probably have more success with that style of team, but I don't think Bill Snyder could coach a team that's, this talented. That comes with different personalities. Nick Saban got a bounce out of talent, right? He was a lot better at LSU than he was at Michigan State, except for when he went to the NFL and had NFL talent. Then it got a little too equal for him in that instance. Kirby Smart. Is Kirby Smart better than Mark Richt as a coach? I don't know that. I mean, yes, he is, but he also had the timing of much better talent. Georgia went to absolute war against Alabama with the Alabama plan that Kirby Smart knew in great detail. And that's how Georgia won 2 back-to-back and had every bit as good as the teams as the Saban's best ones. So talent matters. I mean, it's kind of like, why would we just said Ohio State won it last year because the baseline talent on the roster across the board was better than everybody else's. So, I mean, talent matters. That's kind of a weird question to ask. If he's an 8-4 coach with less talent, that's still a pretty good coach. The problem is when you're an 8-4 coach at A&M and you have real talent. We're not. We know that he's a program builder because we've seen him go from 7 to back-to-back semifinals. So it's kind of a weird question to me, but there is some merit to it from a personality standpoint. Like I said, Kyle Whittingham is probably my favorite coach in college football because he does more with less. But that doesn't mean that if you just gave him, Ohio State's roster, he'd win a national championship.
Yeah.
And also, great coaches build great rosters. Like, you can't penalize him for and they're like, well, it's Texas. Okay. How did Tom Herman's rosters look? You know? So it's just like he is able to build us up on the line. The fact that he was able to get that talent is also a huge aspect of coaching. But yeah, if you have less talent, do you get less wins? Yeah, generally. But I kind of get what he's saying. He's like, look, we have a lot of talent. Are we maximizing that talent? Should we have been in the national championship? Should we have beat Washington? So I've seen that. I've seen that sentiment growing. So what's wrong with Ryan Wingo? He shows us nothing.
Oh, wow.
So with Ryan, there's a disconnect, right? He's running hard. It's all there. There's just a disconnect on like route depth, even like arch zeroing in. Of course, Wingo had a drop when he did zero in. There's just that connection is just weird. But like I said, on the all 22 and tape, he's never loafing. He's lead blocking for Livingston's touchdown, all of that stuff. Eric, all the behind the scenes is he's super locked in player, loves football. Like, this is not an effort issue. There's just something going on with him and Arch's connection. And that's why it's frustrating and weird for us, because we're like, there's all the check boxes you need, athleticism, try hard, all of that stuff. Good team member is there with Wingo.
And like you said earlier, it could be just a bit of pressing, trying to get him the ball. It's just not there yet. But once it connects and when they start flowing together, everybody's going to forget all about this. You'll talk about, okay, we got one of the greatest offenses, right? Because then you got more options to throw the ball to. So I'm not worried about Wingo. It'd be like you said, it'd be a big difference if he was disengaged. Like, oh, I'm not getting the ball. He had bad body language and all that. It's not the case. So not really worried about it.
That dude is such a hardcore horn, man. I usually, offline or at tailgates or happy hours, I'll go into more detail about how that guy's wired and how much he loves Texas. But it's hard to see the knocks on him. But I mean, it's not that the knocks aren't deserved. but I think he does deserve a little bit more time to work this out.
Yeah, and he was hurt. Like people bring it up, out in spring, out the first week of practice, like all that kind of stuff clearly has had an effect as well. PK has built optimal defense. Sark has not on offense. Here's the thing. Texas has been Texas has been about top 3 in defense on efficiency. Texas offense every year has been about top 15. We're not seeing top 3 offenses.
But Sark built that defense, not PK. Sark has done the what a lot of offensive coaches haven't done and devoted resources to the defensive side of the ball. A lot of head coaches, they'll hog all the talent first.
Yep.
If you look at the last couple of recruiting classes, certainly last year, and it'll happen again this year, the best guys are all on defense. Like 7 out of the top 10 recruits, I think, last year were defensive players. That's not just that's not just happenstance. That's Sark saying, okay, look, I think I can game the offense with a quarterback and a couple skill players. That doesn't mean that they're not trying to get offensive linemen. Of course they are, and I think they're going to go a lot harder in the portal than people realize. But he's saying, look, I'm not going to be some of these other schools. A defensive-minded coach might go get a D tackle when he really needed a quarterback. Lincoln Riley. We could say his name out loud. So he's not making that same mistake that other coaches have. I think Sark is on a quest to become a total football coach, and a lot of that has to come with the resources that he's giving to PK, and not just PK, the players. You went and got Johnny Nansen, who was a sitting defensive coordinator. Johnny Nansen is more than qualified to be a quality DC at a high level program, and so he went and got PK that help. It wasn't always pretty with PK. He had Gary Patterson in his second year. Now PK's done a great job of rebuilding that defense. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of that is with the help from Sark's oversight.
Well, and if you remember when Sark hired, we were like, he hired all his assistants, and then he got his coordinator.
Yeah, he had Blake Gideon hired, Terry Joseph hired, which is very unusual. He thought he was going to get Will Muschamp at the time, or at least that was there was a good chance of that. PK's done a really good job. Don't get me wrong, but Sark gets credit for that too, because Sark is the one saying, "Hey, look, man, I didn't get Michael Fasusi. Now you're going to get Justice Terry." It's just Sark is a team player when it comes to procuring talent.
Yeah, and he's exactly, because we're not just talking about procuring it, we're talking about budgets, right? And allocating resources to the defensive side of the ball. Yep. So that's what's awesome too. But yeah, I thought it was interesting. He hired assistants first, which means that he was trying to build the defense. And he's not for PK, but just in general, you're proofing collapse on the defensive side, right? Say PK does have success with all of his guys, and then he gets hired at blah, blah, blah. There's not really anywhere to go higher than Texas. But if you did lose, now you lose your whole defense. Well, if you do it that way and the coordinator leaves, now you get a new coordinator, you can maintain continuity amongst the assistants because you're the one that hired them. So there's that aspect too of where he was also forward thinking, trying to avoid any defensive collapse if the coordinator were to leave and take all his guys.
Right.
So that's a big factor.
Look at the last two national champions. Both of them had great defense. Michigan, Ohio State. He can score points. He can orchestrate points. But if you got a smothering defense like we have, that can win you a championship. So I'm good with it.
Well, it's also like I'm finally hearing on broadcast them shout out the Texas defense. It used to just be all about Sark and his scheme. And I'm like, guys, this is a defensive football team, and it's been a defensive football team. Now we're finally hearing, but you don't hear about PK never gets mentioned in top 5 coordinators yet at Boise State, incredible defense, Washington, incredible defense. Look at it. There's very few DCs that have the track record that PK does too. He's just not very talkative and out in the media, so he doesn't get the media focus. But shout out to the defense, because we do get focused on the Sarkisian offense, and they're incredible. And I think they're going to be the key to this year too, right? Offense has to grow up. They're going to have to keep us in games. Not a coincidence that the defense is what sparked the offense. Here's short field. Here's turnovers. Here you go, guys. Execute. That was going to be a big factor. He took his time to get PK. Yeah,
he missed on guys. Muschamp was a miss. I Alabama held on to Pete Golding, even though Nick was kind of like,
I was surprised he held on to him.
Yeah, well, because Sark had already taken like 3 of his coaches.
He told him to stop, right? Eventually, he was like, "All right, dude, like you took the whole damn offense from me."
Pete Golding's going to be out on my terms, not yours.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. There was a couple other names. I'm trying to remember who it was, but yeah, PK. It took a while. What happened was Pete Carroll reached out to him. Pete was in Seattle forever, and gave a really good word for PK. Sark. He wasn't really in Sark's sphere. I don't think Sark knew PK all that well, even though they had ties at UW. They didn't overlap. But he was awesome at Washington. That the offenses that they had in UW were, fairly pedestrian. They were a little bit explosive, usually solid run game. They had John Ross, but it was really driven by the defense. PK had a really good track record. That's why I was really struggling with that first season, trying to offer context to people. They were like, "He's fired. He needs to be out of here." I'm like,
"Me too."
This guy's got a 15-year track record of being awesome, and then you want to bring in Gary Patterson as a savior who just got fired. For his defense falling off a cliff, even though they were basing that on his 15-year track record before that. It's so weird, but luckily Sark had a really good read on PK, stuck with it, understood that they had talent deficiencies. They don't have any talent deficiencies now. That defense is awesome. You can certainly win a national championship with that defense. The offense just has to get more consistent.
Dude, I made a 40-minute video all about PK's defense, and then they were awful that first year, and everybody was super mad at me. And I was like, "Guys, I promise, like, just wait, please wait."
Yeah. The fans are just so impatient. They can't right now. We're in the middle of a process that they should be enjoying, and they can't do it. I'm enjoying it. Like Sark has to do a good job this year. This could be the perfect job for him or the perfect opportunity for him to let America know how good of a coach he is, because he does have his work cut out for him. Yeah. He's got to bring Arch around. But obviously the better Arch gets, the more credit Sark is going to get. The better the offensive line improves, the more, especially I think it's going to improve because Arch is going to improve. I think that's going to help out the offensive line a lot. All these possibilities are there for Sark. We're in the middle of the process. I would urge fans to sit back and enjoy it and see what comes of it.
Yeah, the SEC is like, because I was worried, look, this is a 3-loss, 4-loss team, but the SEC is getting weird. With Florida's weirdness. Oh, you look good, but there's still holes in their game. I contend that. I haven't watched enough A&M to say anything. Georgia hasn't looked like world beaters.
You see Mississippi State over there?
Mississippi, my boy Shapen.
Texas players, man. That was the former Texas Bowl, man.
Yeah, Shapen to Thompson getting the win. So the SEC is looking a little weird this year. South Carolina had a little weird game. So it's like, who knows, man? I think LSU maybe, but we don't play them. So it's going to be a weird year in the SEC. If it was I'd be much more nervous if it wasn't such of a strange SEC year, because everyone has obvious weakness. I also think this is the product of the NIL era. I think we thought that it would all mean the good teams would take everything and it would funnel up, but that's just not the case. There's more average team talent amongst the Power Five than there was. G5 gets rated, but I think we're seeing more parity, unfortunately, for a brand like Texas that would like to hoard everything.
I still feel good about the season.
Eric feels good, guys. Coach Dub feels great.
Yeah, I feel great.
All right, guys. Chat, thank you. Eric, thank you. Coach, thank you. Guys, this was IT Live. It was brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Have a wonderful Monday, y'all. Peace.